Hey guys, so today I have a bit of a special video. I'm going to be doing a dual replay review with Ankon. Is it Ankon or Ankon?
Ankan.
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 Okay,
In
Ankon.
Swedish.
All right. I'll try and get that. You're gonna have to like correct me a few times here or there, but yeah, we're doing a double replay review. It was something that we thought would be a fun idea. We had a few requests for it. We had people send in replays to us, and then the basic idea of the replay is that we wanted a game that was a loss, that was a close game. And the reason that we wanted to do games like this is because you actually learn the most from games that are close and that are losses, which this game ended up being. You'll see that as the game goes on. But the first thing that I want to talk about is Ankan, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Correct.
He's a EUS player. He hit Challenger. I think you said you got to around 300 LP, 400?
Right now I'm like 350.
Yeah,
I think.
350 LP. He's the one who innovated the Sightstone, Ruby Sightstone build. He has a really good video about that, which I'll link in the description, and I'll also link his YouTube in the description. He's a really great Singed player, really fun guy, and it'd be really awesome if you guys would check him out. And just kind of spread the knowledge about Singed. Hopefully, it'll get more people playing him and just having fun with him, learning about him. Love this champion a lot. Really passionate about him, both of us are. So, I think the first thing that I want to talk about is that this player AFK'd for the first 1 minute of the game.
Not good. Not good.
Definitely not good. Do you want to elaborate about that at all, or?
I mean, as Singed, I think Singed specifically is very. It's very important that you're actually playing the first minute, because you might want to proxy.
Yeah.
Or if not, you might want to just push the wave. So it's important to be alert, level 1.
Yeah, I completely agree. The level 1 strats for not only strats, but the level 1 playstyles are really important for Singed, because versus certain matchups you want to obviously level 1 push, versus certain matchups you want to level 1 proxy, versus certain matchups you want to let them push into you. And
I think in this matchup he's actually doing the really correct thing. He's pushing the lane, making the Darius really suffer. Because if Darius tries to trade, you have the minions backing you up.
Yeah, this is true.
He
This
really
is true.
played that well. Yeah. He even goes for the level 2 cheese as well.
Yeah, that level 2 Pyrospike is something that we talked about before. I've talked about on this channel. Ankin's talked about on his channel. The Singed has one of the strongest level 2s in the entire game, with Fling and Ghost. The only odd thing about that level 2 all-in is you kind of need a lot of distance for the all-in to work. So it tends to generally work a little bit better if they're farther on your side of the lane. But if you harass and auto-attack correctly, a lot of the time you can pull off kills versus melee champions, especially melee champions. It's harder to do versus ranged champions.
Yeah, that's correct. I think the engage was a bit optimistic, especially since it's a Darius.
Yeah.
And it's pretty tanky innately. But I still think it's okay.
Yeah,
you get some pressure on the lane.
Yeah, I agree. This actually right here, what he's doing, he's having the lane frozen on him. I think the only thing that I would personally change about this early lane is that versus Darius, I generally do like letting him push into me, treating it kind of like I treat the Riven matchup. And the reason for that is Darius will generally outtrade Singed, like very slightly, even with a creep advantage. Like sure, this player was trading very well. But as you can see even right there, Darius with the 3 corrupting potion charges does sustain a lot harder in the lane than Singed does with the refill and Dark Seal. So what happens?
I agree to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But I think also Singed does okay in the early game, level 1, level 2.
Yeah, he can.
Against Darius. Especially if you have the minion advantage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He did have the minion advantage, and it actually ended up working out for him there because he got the kill there. Darius ended up losing a lot of minions for it, and it's going to force Darius' teleport too.
That's kind of what he had to do there to make it work.
Yeah,
when
I
he
agree.
back to pick up an item.
He turned a bad
kill,
freeze around
Yeah.
and made it into a good one.
yeah, if Darius just backed, he would be in a really bad spot because Darius would be able to TP back with like full HP, and the Singed would have like no HP, like 500 HP, 400 HP.
Yeah, it would have put him in a pretty weird position. But as far as the lane matchup goes, I want to talk about runes and masters this game. The runes were M-Pen reds, armor yellows, flat AP blues, and movement speed quints, which I think is fine. That's basically the most cut and paste Singed rune page you can possibly get. And it's good for this type of matchup. sometimes like the higher elo you get, you might want to try armor quints and or AP quints versus melee matchups because it tends to be a little bit easier to trade. But as for a game like this, this rune page is completely fine. I do want to talk about the masteries though. I noticed that in the resolve tree, instead of taking perseverance I think it's tier 1 is the bottom, right? Yeah, tier 1's the bottom. Instead of taking the regen mastery, you took the 5% armor and MR mastery, which versus a lane like Darius who wants to be in your face and fighting you all the time. Early on, that 5% armor and MR is not really going to do a whole lot for you at all as compared to the 2 HP per 5 seconds. And then in the second to last tier, you took Legendary Guardian instead of Swiftness, and like Legendary Guardian on Singed is definitely not the mastery you want to go, because a big part of going down that resolve tree is actually getting the Swiftness mastery, so you can have the CC reduction and slow reduction.
Yeah, exactly. But I also think like the insight, I think that's the 4th or 5th, or 3rd even, or 4th. The one that lowers your summoner spells cooldown.
Yeah.
It's also very, very good, especially on a champion like Singed. I think Singed is very reliant on its ghost, especially like against champions that you have to catch that are pretty fast. The Twisted Fate normally runs the ghost. It's very hard to catch.
Yeah.
Lulu, Tristana. I think the ghost is going to be very key in the late game, so I don't think it's bad to go that over Fearless.
I agree with you. Singed is very ghost reliant and summoner reliant in general compared to other champions because he doesn't have any natural gap closers. So like other champions who have natural gap closers, they don't need to use their flash as much, and they don't have as much synergy with Ghost as Singed, obviously, so that's why you see Singed running Ghost. But to talk about Fearless, the mastery versus the Insight mastery, I actually think Fearless is a bit of an overtuned mastery right now. You get 10% of your max armor and MR for 2 seconds on hit every 9 seconds. And like I personally think that mastery is okay to run, but if you're looking to go for a really aggressive playstyle, then definitely you want Insight over Fearless. And eventually I do think that they will nerf Fearless. Like, people are going to realize that mastery itself is really strong, and after that Fearless nerf, I probably will personally start running Insight again, because 15% off of teleport and ghost together is a lot of extra seconds that you save, more time to make plays, more time to just be useful with your ghost up, basically, because Singed without ghost versus certain champions is just really hard to make work until you have Righteous Glory.
Yeah, but I also think like using the ghost there, level 1 or level 2 like he did, would have been less worse of a play if he actually had the insight. You can be a bit more you can spend it more easily if you have the insight.
Yeah, you can be way more liberal with it. I completely agree.
Yeah. The TP as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. You get like 55 seconds off your teleport or something crazy like that.
It's actually huge. Like that's 55 seconds. If you both TP bot lane, for example, to fight, you and the enemy top laner, that's 55 seconds where the enemy top laner can make a play and you can't respond.
Yeah. Just like a little quick aside, what was happening there was our Singed player here waited in the base for a very long time. Not sure exactly why. I think he finished Raptor Cloak there. But even regardless, it's definitely not ever worth staying in your base for that long ever, unless you're finishing like a really big core item or something like that. And Raptor Cloak itself is not that big of a core item at all. He could have maybe just gotten like boots and a cloth armor and ran back to lane or something because he has an extra inventory slot available. I mean, I get the logic of wanting to wait for the full Raptor Cloak because you're going for Azizra, obviously, but spending that much time in your base, not showing on the map, like not doing it, like not being productive in terms of the game is just not the best way to do it. You just lose a lot of efficiency.
He lost 6 minions as well.
6 minions,
yeah, he lost an entire wave of minions.
120 gold.
That's really, really bad. That's actually really, really, really bad.
Yep.
Especially since you could have taken it like it was free.
Yeah, if you didn't have the 2 kills here, that 6 minion loss is 120 gold, which is actually quite a bit. Yeah, and so this fight right here, I think, is actually pretty good. He recognizes the fact that he has armor over Darius, and that Darius is definitely not in a good position to fight, because Darius only has a longsword and what is that, null magic mantle, I think they call the little mini Negatron cloak. But
he hasn't been backed. The Darius hasn't backed, and this is the perfect opportunity for you to fight.
Yep,
whatever champion you are, you should always abuse the enemy top laner not backing, because he's sitting on 800 gold at that time, and that's 800 gold of stats that he isn't using in this fight. So after this back, he's gonna be a lot stronger and harder to deal with for Singe.
Yeah, I agree. That's another thing that's kind of good about Raptor Cloak is that it does let you walk back to lane faster. Here, that death.
So stupid. That's actually really stupid. This him dying there on the behind turret.
Why do you think so?
Because he shouldn't be proxying this wave at all.
Mm-hmm.
The TF is already level 6.
Yeah.
He has already used ulti once, but it's still so unnecessary for this.
You don't know where the jungler is.
You have no idea. But you have a ward in river, so you know you're safe in lane. There's no rush. You can just wait for the wave to come and then farm one wave safe.
Yeah, you can wait in the lane in a situation like that and not get greedy. Like I understand the desire for a Singe player to go behind the turret there and like to deny them as much CS while losing as little time as possible, but you don't know where the enemy jungler is. You don't know where obviously you know where the mid laner is, but it's TF. Like he can be on your ass like in like a second.
Yeah. Did you see what he did there in base?
What did he do?
He got Negatron cloak, but then he sold it for boots. I like that play.
I think that's a good decision. The Swifties here definitely it's gonna let you kill Darius again just because you're able to outrun him basically. Like you ignore his W slow quite a bit too.
Negatron is dead stats in this matchup.
Yeah, Negatron's not good.
It's 720 gold of nothing.
Yep.
That you throw into the sea.
Yeah. So basically, this is something that we were talking about earlier. Is movement speed on Singed is like a lot of the time, or actually no, this wasn't a conversation I had with you. This was a conversation I had with King Nidhogg. You don't know who that is probably, but he's a high elo challenger Jarvan player. I was talking to him yesterday, and the idea was that movement speed on Singe essentially equals damage, because if Singe, you have no ranged abilities at all that do damage. You have to be on top of people to do damage, and if you don't have the movement speed in order to do that, you notice this a lot versus champions like Darius who like to go Phage. Like he doesn't have the Phage here, but even if that Darius had Phage, he would be getting extra movement speed, probably kite the Singed out in that situation. But with you having Swifties and him not having Phage yet, it's really easy for you to just stick right on top of him and DPS him slowly and kill him, even through his X-Drinker.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. Here I think it's kind of greedy of him. He knows Darius is coming back to lane, and if he was like paying attention, he would know that Darius shows up now.
Yeah. Another thing about that, I think, is this is definitely an odd play. I kind of see the logic is that you want to get the tower, but you got in a situation like this, you got to recognize that your bot turret was already like pushed all the way in, and it was taken. So the bot turret was already taken. There's no way you get the extra 400 gold, even if you do die for that turret. And I can argue that if you die for the turret, and getting the tower first blood gold, like that would be worth it in that situation. But you didn't get the turret, one, and two, there's no way to get the turret first blood in the first place. So overall, it's just a very, very poor decision making there.
And this gives the TF another kill on you. You already died once. You already inted once to him, and now you're. No, it's not really inted. Yeah. You already died to him once, making the lane even harder for the Kassadin, and now you give Darius a way back into the game. He gets your turret here, I think, even. Like, only because you went for that greedy tower play.
Yep.
I think it's unnecessary, and like
sorry, keep going.
Risky plays. Like, I don't think the reward was big enough for the risk you took.
Yeah, I
like normally you can do like risky fight. Exactly. Like if it's first blood turret, for example, it's most of the time worth it. But here it isn't.
I even argue like every time it's worth it. Just 600 gold is so much money for early game. But I want to talk about that engage that you pulled on Darius a few seconds ago. I realized that he did not have flash up, but in a situation like that, if you're engaging on someone and you know that they have flash and you're that much faster than they are, a lot of the time it's good to put your goo right behind them and fling them into it, and just have them like be non-mobile for that extra bit of time. Because a lot of the time that can actually make or break the difference between you securing a kill and you not getting the kill. Is that small amount of root duration, and it's a lot easier to do the goofling when you have that amount of movement speed advantage over them.
I feel like a lot of Singe players should put in some effort and practice the goofling.
I completely agree, yeah.
I think it's not well enough abused. I just started like before I was like, oh, it's not that good. I only get it like 1 or 2 times per game.
Mm-hmm.
But now I use it all the time, and it's really, really good. So I think people should start to practice it.
Yeah, that's something that we were talking about actually. The Korean Singe main who got to like rank 5, his name is Lehens. What I noticed that is he does better than all of his Singe mains. From what I can tell is his gooflings are completely on point. He usually always prioritizes gooflings over normal flings, and getting gooflings over getting normal mega adhesives, basically. So that fight right there, your ult wasn't running whenever you started the fight, and that means that instantly you're going to be taking way more damage than you should be. Their whole entire team rotated over. You know that your bot lane's freezing. You don't know where their bot lane is. So obviously, like, they're going to be either top or they're going to be contesting the objective. They're not contesting the objective because you have, or you had vision over it. That word right there that Kha'Zix is doing dragon on top of. But, you know that they're not doing dragon. Where else could they possibly be if their mid tower is already dead? Oh, they might be coming top because you're pushed into their tier 2 with no ult. It's something that you hear, like, some players, when they're streaming say, oh, you gotta be aware of the map, you gotta be aware of the map. That's what they're talking about. You're not, like, doing anything crazy. You're not, like, making any psychic decision making. All you're doing is, like, doing a, what's the word for it? A checklist in your head, basically, of, you can't be there, so you have to be here.
Yep. I think you always have to, like, look and try and predict where the jungler is, where the enemy team is.
Yep.
Keep track of where the jungler started. Like, that's a really important part of League of Legends, especially top laning. I think top lane is the lane it's the most important.
Absolutely,
is that you keep track of the enemy team, and that's also like your Vayne is really far behind, and she needs some time to get some gold. So it's really good to let her freeze the lane bot lane.
Yeah.
But that means you have to be a bit careful in top lane and mid lane unless you're really, really far ahead. Which he wasn't. And here you're AFK again.
Yeah, he's been AFK again for like the last 45 seconds again.
Yeah.
And I noticed that once again it was in order for you to finish items. You finished Caesar up, and you bought a blasting one, which is like fine. But imagine like if you went and clear the Krug camp, you went and pushed that wave in. It would have given Darius less of a chance to pressure mid lane like this. Not sure why this fight is being taken. You're 1v4.
And like here's the thing, right? You have to understand how the game looks. Like, look at the game. The enemy team has a Tristana that's 8-0.
Yeah.
Like, you have to kill her in team fights. Like, the Darius is not going to be a threat. The Game 6 is not going to be a threat. Maybe a bit of a threat, but not a big threat. You're going to have to kill Tristana. And how do you kill an AD carry? You run at them and fling them into your team, or just fling them, because they're so squishy.
Yep.
And how do you easily get flings on AD carries or any, like, backliner? You get Rifle's Glory. He doesn't build Rifle's Glory in this situation.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
I think Rifle's Glory should have been bought here. I think Rifle's Glory should have been bought first item. But if you go Thrust Portal first, you should go with second. Because it's so core, especially if the enemy team is getting fed and you're losing.
Absolutely.
Because Rhyna is not going to do anything for you. I mean, if you manage to fling Tristana, yeah, then it's great. Then maybe you will kill her. But if you have Rifle's Glory, I think you would have been able to kill her anyways.
Yeah. And if you don't get the fling on her, even with Rifle's Glory, you will almost always blow a flash. You'll get her ult. You'll get someone else's flash to protect her. Like, it's not a failed attempt if you don't get the kill. It's a successful attempt if you blow their summoners. You have to think about it that way too, because flash has such a long cooldown compared to your Righteous Glory and Ghost and ult.
And I think another part of that is you have no proper engage on your team. You have the Hecarim, but he also goes in front line with his ulti. So getting another way of engaging on this team is also very important.
I agree completely. Yeah.
Here, ult is so late as well.
Yeah, the ult was extremely late. I'm not sure why that is. Was his ultimate up during the fight, or did it just come up at the end of that fight?
Wait, I'm not gonna go back, but I could.
I think he had it the entire fight.
I think he had it then.
Yeah, because he waited in base after he died.
Yeah.
So yeah, he definitely had it that fight. It's definitely not like a Mundo ult level regen. The regen is more of like you notice it over time and not instantly. So using it when you're low, you actually want to use it when you're high HP.
Yeah, and even like he started to he started to get some poison ticks on Kha'Zix, so it would have done a lot more damage as well.
Yeah, that's true. Because you do get the level 2 ult, you get 50 AP. Yeah, just once again, just AFKing in the base. Like, this is, like, okay, I guess that time you weren't, like, AFK, but there's still a lot of time that you spent in the base. This is something that I made a video about before. It's called shop efficiency. You want to spend as little amount of time in the shop as possible. You always want to be outside of your base, like, trying to farm, trying to, like, take an objective, trying to, like, gank, trying to just fight, anything. Just don't be idle in your base, because the more time you spend idle in your base, that's more time that you're spending doing nothing. Singed as a champion is really, really good at just running around the map and being able to, like, just clear minion waves or, like, take a jungle camp or two, set up a flank and, like, make a pick, as opposed to other champions who, like, aren't really as good as that, and you can kind of be forgiven more for waiting in your base for, like, an item or two or, like, not knowing what to buy. But as a Singed main, you should always know what to buy, and you should know, like, how to buy it quickly, where it is in the shop, and just always be aware of, like, things that you can do on the map.
Yeah. And even when he has bought something and he went out from the lane, he hasn't been doing anything. He got the camp here now on the Krugs. Mm-hmm. But that's the first thing he got since he was AFK in the base.
Yeah, you could have been taking that Krug camp the entire game. That's 70 gold, or no, that's like way more than 70 gold now, because you get 70 for just killing the 2 big ones. That's like a lot of gold you've been missing out on.
Yeah, when you're walking back and forth between lanes, like mid lane, top lane, that's time wasted. Time you could have spent doing something useful, gaining gold, getting vision. You didn't even get vision. You just walked top lane, mid lane.
Yep. And a lot of that time that you spent AFKing and not farming, like, Darius managed to actually close the farm lead, and then he actually closed the farm gap, and now he has a farm lead. So
yeah, and he has a gold lead as well. He got a gold lead as well. That's partly because of the turrets, but
it is partly because of the turrets, but you could also argue that losing the turrets was his fault in the first place for AFKing. So
yeah, partly, but also, I mean, the lead isn't that great. It's 400 gold. I think 400 gold. Mm-hmm. You would have been able to make a bigger. Like a gap between you and Darius if you spent the time doing something useful like farming or trying to get picks or vision.
Yeah, I completely agree. So right here, imagine for this fight if you had Righteous Glory, you would have just dumpstered that.
Yeah, and the flick on Darius is also questionable, because as we said, like, your only objective is to kill this Tristana.
Yep.
Like, if you kill Tristana, you win the game.
Definitely.
And you have a team that's pretty good at killing, like, single targets. Like, if you manage to fling Tristana...
Kassadin, Vayne, yeah, definitely.
And Hecarim. Like, Hecarim, Kassadin, and you jumping on the Tristana, she's dead.
Yeah, this is actually a really great team to kill Tristana if the itemization was done correctly. There's... like, even right there again, see how, like, you got right up closer, but you couldn't exactly finish the kill. It's just because you don't have, like, the amount of speed or the gap close necessary to get onto her. Versus, this is why I always say that Righteous Glory might be, like, one of the most important Singed items, if not the most important Singed items, because when you play versus better players...
I think it is absolutely the best item.
Yeah.
I think, like, no item is so good with his kit.
Except for Righteous Glory.
Yeah, I mean the Righteous Glory. The Rylai is not.
Oh yeah, true.
I meant the Righteous Glory, of course.
Okay, I thought you were talking about Rylai for a second. I was like, hold on, wait a second.
Yeah. No, I don't think Rylai is that important. I never buy Rylai.
Yeah, I agree.
I haven't bought Rylai since like season 5. Like as a core item in my build.
Yeah, it definitely was not that great in season 6, but.
I feel like you have less impact with Rylai than you have with, for example, Righteous Glory.
Definitely. Oh man, definitely.
Especially in things like this, because you're never gonna be the main. This is just a horrible Baron call, but especially in fights like that we saw before, or games like this where you have to kill one target. The slow is good if the enemy has like a fed Irelia or Darius, because then you can kite him back. But here you wanna get to the back line.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as that Baron call goes, like, this isn't a specific, like, Singed criticism, this is just a general criticism. Their death timers were way too short for you to do Baron. If you kill somebody, like, in your base, if you kill the team in your base, which is what happened, and you want to run Baron, you need at least 45-second death timers. They had like 25, 30-second death timers at this stage of the game. That is not nearly enough time for you to be able to kill a Baron and get out safely. And even if you wanted to do that, you didn't have the health to tank it efficiently. Like, you only get 300 health from Rylai's. Imagine if you had, again, yeah, kind of because of no Righteous Glory, but imagine if you had Righteous Glory. Singed, we get 600 HP from Righteous Glory because of his passive. That's double the amount of HP.
He has 2k gold in his inventory right now, the Singed. He didn't buy when he was dead.
He could have sold both. He could have sold both of his Dark Seals and gotten a Righteous Glory right there.
Yeah, he should have sold both of them and got that.
The thing to remember about Dark Seal is I always just like kind of run mental math with it. You get about 200 gold each for selling it, and if you're sitting at 2k gold, Righteous Glory is 2,500 gold. By the time you like recall and regen, or not regen, by the time you recall and like accumulate gold just passively, you sell this to Dark Seals, you will probably have enough to get a Righteous Glory.
Yeah, I think here you should have just sold it and got a pink word.
Yep.
I think like in this stage of the game, maybe not this stage, but like a bit later, I actually got it.
Yeah, right there you got it. But he could have definitely gotten it earlier.
But in the late game, like 5 items, or not 5 items, but 4 items, a pink word is more worth than the stats you get from a Dark Seal.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the stats are so weak on Dark Seal in the end game, so.
Especially around, like, this is something that we were talking about before, is, Dark Seals really fall off hard in terms of natural damage for Singed around 25, 26 minutes. At this stage of the game, you like, because you're not, like, you have a lot of kills, yeah, but you're not the main carry threat. You want to be able to bring some utility to the team. All you lose if you sell the Dark Seal is about 25 HP, 15 AP, which is not much at all at this stage of the game. You can get, like, 2 or 3 pink wards. Also change your blue trinket to blue trinket as soon as you buy Righteous Glory. And the reason I do that is because you don't get the Righteous Glory movement speed if someone walks in Fog of War or into a bush, so you just put the blue trinket while you're chasing them and you get your movement speed back. But definitely have the blue trinket too at this stage of the game. And always buy pink wards. That's something I noticed you didn't do a lot this game, is you didn't buy that many pink wards. You bought one when you were laning, but other than that, you didn't buy pink wards at all. And that's a really important item because there's no other way to get latent vision outside of having a Sightstone.
And especially on Singed, because Singed is so dependent and reliant on this single target picks.
Yep.
Because of his innate really good. Oh my god, he doesn't have thing up.
Oh man, yeah, that's true. This is a really not clean team fight at all.
Yeah, that's not good. That's gonna be the end of this game, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be able to push in and win.
But yeah, like right there. You have to think about, in that situation you did have Righteous Glory and you didn't manage to make the pick. That was obviously because your fling wasn't up. But if you had your Righteous Glory earlier in this game and you were picking off the Tristana throughout the course of this game, she wouldn't have gotten nearly this fed because you guys would have shut her down multiple times. She would not be 13-1. She might be like 13-7. You would have gotten a lot of gold off of killing her. Your team would have skilled a lot better through shutdowns, especially Thane. Like me and Enkin both think that Righteous Glory is just such an important item for Singed, and for any player to skip it out, I can understand getting Caesar at first, but at least get like Enkin said this before, at least get Righteous Glory second. Don't get it third. That's way too late in the game. You need to be able to make your impact early, and then have utility late game.
Yeah, I think a very important thing to take from this game is, like, you have to be able to adapt your item build to the game, to what's happening to the game. Mm-hmm. Like, this Tristana was getting fed. It's not like she suddenly got 13 kills. She already had like so many kills when you were starting.
And we pointed out multiple times where you could have stopped her snowball too.
Yes. And that's what you have to do in this game. Like, that's the only way to win. When your team is being bad, losing lanes hard, you have to adapt and be as strong as you can.
You have to be proactive,
Yeah, and I don't think that this, like, he did it very well with the Rylai. I think Rylai would have been good if Kha'Zix was very fed, or if Darius was really fed.
Yeah.
But they weren't, so that's why you should have gone for something that's better against Tristana. You could even argue that going, like, Randuin's would have been okay.
It would have been okay.
Yeah, I think Randuin's second item wouldn't have been bad either.
Yep. And as far as Rylai's itself goes here, it's a 20% slow, right? Thinking about Righteous Glory, you get, I think it's what, a 75? Yeah, 75% slow.
Yep.
For 2 seconds.
That's insane
really
how much
slow. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it's gonna take to kill the Tristana. Tristana, you're not gonna be able to, she's not gonna be alive long enough for this long Rylai slow to be useful. You're gonna need a hard slow and a hard CC to kill the Tristana.
Yeah, definitely.
That's very important to remember.
And you can also use Righteous Glory defensively too. Like you don't have to pop it as soon as you fling Tristana, or well, you obviously pop it once to go in, but there's a second activation. You don't have to use that second activation after you fling her. You can run back towards your team as they're fighting Tristana. Use your second activation near your AD carry or your mid laner, and just help peel with that second slow. Basically, like it's a 2-part item. You have to consider like both the movement speed and the slow duration and the slow parts of it whenever you're using it, and that's why like it just gives so much health and utility. It's way too good to ignore, I think.
Yeah, another thing with the Righteous Glory versus Rylai, I think even when Kha'Zix would have jumped in on Vayne, let's say, or Kassadin, running back to your team and giving them giving the Kha'Zix the 75% slow, I think is better than the 20% slow that Rylai gives you.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely better.
So I think that's also one thing to think about.
Yeah, it's not that like we think Rylai is a bad item. We just don't think it's as good as it used to be compared to items like Righteous Glory, and also the fact that Rylai's lost a 100 HP and 25 AP. Like, sure, it's really good that you can get it earlier now, but you have to pair it with Liandry's for it to be like super great, like it used to be. And you have to, and the problem with that is like Righteous Glory versus Roa, and it's not Roa, Rylai's just item per item. Righteous Glory is better. You need an extra item to make Rylai's really good.
Yeah, the utility in Righteous Glory is just insane. I think any Singe players should have realized that by now. Try to abuse it more. I think it's really good. All the Koreans think it's really good. I think Minish Cap thinks it's a really good item. So
yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to hit on, or you think we're good
in this game?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think we.
Yeah, I think we kind of tore this guy apart a little bit.
Yeah, but I think also the Strut Portal first item isn't optimal against Darius. I think you can make a case for Rylai first item, but I think the Strut Portal isn't good because it's 55 magic resist, and 55 magic resist doesn't help you at all against.
Yeah, they were a single AP threat team.
Neither Kha'Zix. That's wasted stats.
Yeah, I agree. And so, I did notice that there's also... Sorry, keep going.
So go.
I did notice also that you weren't using the Zz'Rat like Portal effectively at all. Like I did notice one time, like even like if you use the active, like I think you used it to defend the base once, right?
Yeah, I actually didn't think about that at all.
Yeah, I did notice the active going down anywhere. Like you didn't pressure anything with it at all. Which is the new Zz'Rat actually. I was gonna make a different video about this, but you just shred towers really quickly. Just try and use that. And like this isn't like me trying to be mean. This is just me like giving honest criticism about your use of Zz'Rat Portal. So yeah. Anything else you want to hit
on? I think that's all.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that review. And if you are interested in having either of us do a replay review, even one together, like I don't mind doing this at all. Just go ahead and you can message me on Twitter at MinishCap1LOL, and then I'll also link Enkin's Twitter in the description and his channel and his Ruby Sightstone build. Make sure to check it out. And thanks for watching. Leave a thumbs up, comment, subscribe if you haven't, all that YouTube shit. And I'll see you guys later.